Okay, what we're doing here today is I was asked by a customer of mine, Jennings, to see if I could re-dye his old holster that he had. He bought this in 1960 and it's not in bad shape. He just wants it re-dyed black again. So what I'm going to do is use some stripper on it to clean all the oil and grease off of it, and then use some dye and go ahead and re-dye it for him. I've done this before quite a few times. I just haven't done it for a little while. Usually it's something on a little smaller scale. So, but we'll take a little bit of this thinner that I got on here and go over the belt and wipe it all down and get all the crud and stuff cleaned off of it, so that the dye will adhere to it very well. He's told me that he bought this belt from a friend of his in 1960, which is just a little older than I am, and he bought it for 20 bucks, and he's asked the guy several times if he wanted to purchase the belt back, and he goes, you know what, you've had it so long, why don't you just hang on to it. And Jennings has a little 22 revolver, it's a Ruger Bearcat 22, and that's what he uses it for. So I've done some hats for him, so that's how I got to know Jennings, and he just wants me to spick and span this sucker up and make it look really good, so that's what we're going to do. Like I said, I don't think it's going to need as much work as what he thinks it will. I had to put a little bit of some plastic down here so that the dye, I don't get it on my tabletop here of my counter that I'm working on. And of course, rubber gloves, so you don't want to have any of that onto your fingers. I do see that as old as it is, it's got a little bit of wear where the bullets go in here, but I mean, it's nothing crazy the matter with it. It's pretty good. So okay, now that we got that done, we put this, cover that back up to make damn sure we don't spill it all over everything. And I just go and wipe this back off again to make sure it dries okay before I put the dye on. A lot of hands-on and stuff like this. There's no machine to do this. You gotta do it by hand. That's all there is to it. So. When I get all said and done too, I'm gonna go through and shine up this buckle for him, make it look really nice. I've got some stuff I'll use on there that'll make it look like a mirror when I get done. Okay. This dye that I'm going to use is from, it's not from Tandy Leather. I actually got it from Hobby Lobby, believe it or not. They carry dye over there in their leather department. You just rub it in and do some even strokes on it, just like painting anything else. Make sure and get all your seams good so that it looks like you didn't miss anything. I told him for what he paid for this thing, you can't even begin to buy the leather for it nowadays. I mean, it's all, I'll have to show it to you when I get through. It's all basket stamped. I guess the the one thing I thought about after he dropped it off to me was this. Jennings is probably in his late 70s, early 80s, I'd guess, something like that. But I guess what I'm getting at is if you've had a gun belt since 1960, and you can still use it and wear it yet, you're obviously taking good care of yourself. A lot of times they tend to shrink after a while, if you know what I mean. Too much of the good life. But he said he goes out and uses it fairly often. I don't think he shoots super often, but I think he goes out every other month or so and goes out and shoots a little bit. Okay. Sometimes when you're doing this, you might have to go over it a couple times just to make it look right, and that's not uncommon. Same with boots too. If you got a pair of boots that you want to re-dye them a couple times, you might have to run some dye over them a few times just to make sure everything comes out as even as you'd like it, as nice as you'd like it. So, because it'll absorb into the leather a little bit. So, and I'm sure with it out in the garage here being, I don't know, 105 degrees, I'm sure this will dry pretty quick. Take advantage of our desert low humidity and everything. Now it's low humidity. We had a lot of monsoon activity and it was pretty humid there for desert standards, let's put it that way. So just about done. Got a pair of dark brown boots in the house that are Lucchese's that are pretty old. They're boots I've had for a long time. Back when Lucchese was made back in San Antonio, Texas, before they moved to El Paso, which was about probably 1990-ish or so, I would say. Anyway, they're getting a little long in the tooth on some of the wear on them too, so I think I'll have to probably go through and do the same thing with them as I'm doing with this. I'm sure they could use a little love. They feel good and they fit good. The only thing I've ever done to those boots the whole time I've had them is put rubber heel pads on the back of them. That's it. The soles are like the day I bought them yet. So, okay. I think we've got this all whipped into shape pretty good here. I'm going to put the cap on here quick. As you can see, it's got a little bit of a sheen to it now that it didn't have before, so it's looking very well. It should dry nice. I'll leave it dry for a couple of hours. I'll come back out here and throw another, throw another coat on it. And then I'll take it down to work tomorrow and he can come pick it up. So pretty simple stuff. It's not a hard thing to do. So I just thought I'd take you guys along and show you how it's done. So you guys have a good evening and we'll talk to you later. Bye.